Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are joining me here today, I'm actually redoing this video that I had previously done before for a few reasons. One, a group of people called Rift Arcade on here on YouTube, it actually, by my own request, no less, actually did this game uh, from the perspective of a first timer at it. And suffice to say, they gave it a shot, and if they're and I felt kind of honored to actually, you know, redo this video for that reason. Another reason I'm redoing this is because this is one of my childhood favorite games. Specifically, this is perhaps the first game that I'd actually been, I wouldn't say infatuated with it, but it was one of those games that kind of struck a chord. I'm talking as early as about 3 or 4 years old, right? It, to me, this game was like the correct balance between frustrating but fun. It was always about, okay, how much further can you get? It was. I'm not talking like Super Meat Boy levels of difficult or Kaizo levels of difficult. Although, to be fair, there is at least one screen or one part of the game that you might say is kind of Kaizo-ish, I suppose. But, I digress, really. And another reason I'm redoing it is not only because the audio and visual in my first recording was bad. I actually recorded that in the middle of a thunderstorm, or at least a thunderstorm rolled around just as I was finishing up one recording, and I had to break it up into two. And and I'm not entirely sure, but I think at one point there was like screen flickering. Yeah, not a real fun time. I'm not a fan of redoing things, personally, but, well, sometimes these things have got to be done, and the good news is, this game isn't terribly long. It falls under the category of one of those games where it was difficult, but short, So, if you speedrun this game, you could probably get it done in about 30 minutes, honestly. But, so, anyway, enough of my explanations and ramblings. Let's see. Okay, game version. International, hamburger, Japan. Probably stick with the international, I guess. I don't... let's see. Display mode, normal, fit, full. Ugh, that's ugly. Dot by dot, vintage, normal. Normal, display effect, scanline, smoothing. No, let's just wallpaper. Type A, B, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, not much variety here. We'll just stick with type A. I can't change the music? Wait, hold on. Oh, come on. Surely I should be able to change the music, right? FM. Oh, okay. FM? I wonder how I can get to the FM version. Anyway, we'll just stick with international. Maybe it's only in ages mode that it works? Well, anyway, let's just dive right into original mode, huh? Oh yeah, there's the sounds I'm familiar with. Oh, fun fact, that thing Alex is eating, that thing you have to collect at the end of every level, when we first played this, when me and my half-brothers first played this game, We all thought that was like a graphical glitch that he was munching on. No, actually, it's a food called a onigiri. Basically, it's a rice ball. Never had, by the way. And, you know, Lord knows I've actually tried searching, you know, food apps for rice ball, and couldn't find one. Kind of a lost food art, I guess. Lost time, I'm afraid. Okay. Okay, so these question mark blocks. Truth of the matter is that even if you choose to ignore a question mark block that you know contains something bad, the next time you come across one of these, it's going to also contain something bad. So it's in your best interest to actually open it up so that the next item in its sequence will be something good. It always goes in this sequence. The ring, a ghost, and an extra life. Now the ghosts cannot be harmed, but they sure as heck can harm you. Now this pink block with a skull on it, yeah, don't touch it. It'll just spawn another one of those ghosts. So, according to the instruction manual, for those of you who had this game, basically, according to the instruction manual, Alex Kidd here was actually here on Mount Eternal, training in his martial arts style. Yes, this is martial arts. Don't at me here. Martial arts style called shellcore, which basically is a technique that... It's basically a martial arts style that lets one, well, smash rocks and such. I don't know. It's about as basic as you can get. This game is another one of those games that are also inspired by Journey to the West. You know, not unlike Dragon Ball's Goku, which was also originally a Journey to the West inspired adaptation before, you know, that Akira Toriyama drew inspiration from. So the big bags of money are worth 20 and the small ones are worth 10. Interesting fact about the money bags. The money bags that are out in the open, they don't disappear if you leave them alone. They'll still be there. However, if you open up more than 2 of these blocks these star blocks at a time, the previous one, or the oldest of the 2 that you've already hit, will actually disappear on you. So, yeah. As far as I know, I do not think 1-ups will disappear if they're revealed. Oh, by the way, if I had equipped the ring prior to coming down here, the water will actually... See, I can actually equip the ring now, but it's not usable in the water. So I just effectively wasted my ring. The ring actually makes you shoot projectiles, but I'll show that off in a little bit. The skull blocks there... Oh, that's weird. Those skull blocks there were supposed to make me frozen for a time. Okay, so... Remember how we opened up that question mark block earlier? Well, this one is now an extra life. Just get some money, and that's the level. There are levels in between levels. I mean, there's only 11 major areas in the game. So this is your standard shop. You have money, you have 3 items for sale. I'll go ahead and buy a replacement ring. This right here, it's not a mystery item, it's actually invincibility. I think it's supposed to be, like, rice or something? I don't know. But anyway, pick that up. Pick that up or don't, it's up to you. And here we have the game's first vehicle segment. Yeah, this game is... Although vehicles do play a part in this game, it's not a major part, really. Okay, so you see these frogs bouncing around? The Sega Master System, to which this game was originally on, actually, in the first iteration of the Master System, you could actually play both cartridges and games that came on small, thin, flat, I wouldn't say floppy disk style cards, but like imagine a PlayStation memory card, but like about the size of a, about, I'd say about 30% smaller than a playing card. Anyway, some games came on a card, and those frogs can be found in a game called My Hero, which is basically an arcade-style beat-em-up. Well, I say arcade-style beat-em-up. It's more like an endless runner type game where you go around, you beat up thugs in an effort to save your girlfriend from all sorts of bullies and such. But anyway, the frogs, for whatever reason, appear in that game. So, yeah, I just encountered a mini-boss who challenged me to a game of rock, paper, scissors. This game is actually... This game's actually big with rock, paper, scissors. Come here, that's an extra life. By the way, the contents of question mark blocks, the sequence doesn't carry over from level to level, so, you know, that one should always be a 1-up if you get it. So this is one of the game's first challenges right here, this octopus here. You basically want to hit this, you basically want to punch this tentacle, this lone tentacle of his, enough times until he, well, dies, I guess. Okay, so I could continue on with the level, and if I go past this point, I'll run into the only instance of an enemy you'll only see once, known as a seahorse. But if you come down here, you can actually enter a hidden area where you can get some extra money. Just swim through here, come up here, and presto, you're now up here. As far as I know, there's no way to manipulate what's actually in the star blocks, so it's kind of completely random how much money you actually get each time you open it up, with the exception being the money bags are out in the open like this. If I punch this small area here, I can turn those blue blocks into coin blocks. I don't know if that's actually a glitch or intentional, but it's a nice little trick. But where we're going, we can go to an area where you can get even more goodies later. So it's not really super important that we do so. So just punch this scorpion, grab an extra life, and get up there. There we go. So, as I was about to say, the rock, paper, scissors game, you will encounter each of the henchmen twice and Jake and the Great once. Now, imagine you're a kid who played this game back in the day before the age of the internet. See, the truth of the matter is, it's not true RNG, as far as what the NPCs will throw at you. So, if you look, there's a reason I picked this particular frame, wallpaper, and that's because if you look above, those rock, paper, scissors symbols, they're not random. Those symbols up there are actually the answers to each of the encounters. So, go Giza, go Seka, or Stonehead, as he's known in the game. Yeah, the manual gave the 3 henchmen, like, Japanese names, I guess. Gozeka is the Stonehead, Chokina is the Scissorhead, and Papillon, I guess, is Paperhead. So anyway, Stonehead, you're supposed to throw rock and scissors. Scissorhead, when we encounter him for the first time, you throw scissors and then paper. And then when you get to Paperhead for the first time, you throw rock and scissors, and so on and so forth. Now, as long as you don't, as far as I know, the sequence, as long as you don't mess up any part of the sequence, you know, it'll never be random. So, and I don't think the pattern carries over from encounter to encounter, so, yeah, but like I said, this game was made before the internet, so for all you knew, that it really was random. So anyway, this character here is Master Neutrani? I don't know. Anyway, he tells you that you're actually a prince from a country known as Redaxian. Redaxian kind of sounds like a medication, honestly. But I digress. Basically, Jake the Great has come to take over the land, and I guess, supposedly, it's my destiny to stop him. Anyway. So, anyway, you begin this level by a helicopter sequence in which you can try to get as much money as you can here without crashing your vehicle. This is another one of those vehicles. This particular one is known in the instruction manual as a pedicopter. Basically, it's a bipedal helicopter that, well, as you can see, it's operated solely, well, by Alex power. Well, I crashed the vehicle, so now I have to finish the level under the water. I mean, it's no big deal, really, but the only downside is that you don't get as much money this way. But we're about to get another helicopter shortly, so it's not all bad. So here's another level, and another shop. Okay, so here's the thing. Extra lives, upon purchase, they're 500 apiece. Now, this game does have an actual continue code that, as long as you have at least, I think it's either 8 or 400 money, or Balm, B-A-L-U-M. Yeah, I guess that's the name of the currency. If you have at least 400 credits, or I think it's 800, I'm not sure. If you push left 8 times in sequence when game over shows up, you can get a continue function to occur. And you'll basically continue the game from the level you left off at with 3 lives. But again, there was no internet back then, so nobody really knew. So the A-ball here, it only has really... The A-ball lets you summon 8 smaller copies of yourself to dispatch enemies. Now, we only really need it for 1 encounter in this game, which I'll show off later. So anyway, if you have enough money, buy all the items, you have no reason not to. And you can basically just fly around and collect the money that's abound. Oh, fun fact, you see that bouncing fish? That's also another enemy that appears in another Sega game that appeared on a card called Teddy Boy. No, I'm not kidding, that was the name of the game, Teddy Boy. Basically, it was a game where you're a kid or something with a gun. You shoot enemies, turn them into spheres, collect the spheres for points as fast as possible before the level kind of disappears on you. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the games are pretty weird. But in any case... Okay, extra life. these fireballs can't be destroyed, so don't bother. Okay, collect that. I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna bother getting that last one. We got plenty of money, I think. So this is one of the few battle encounters. Basically, this ox is rampaging and you just gotta punch it in the face a few times. Yep, easy. So anyway, this village supposedly has caught wind that your elder twin brother is a prisoner in, I guess, the family's castle. Okay, so this is an excellent opportunity to showcase the ring item. Basically, it lets you shoot projectiles. Now, fun fact. Now, when I was just punching blocks, Alex's fist had a hitbox, which basically lets you hit enemies and such. But the thing is, if you have the ring equipped, your fist no longer has a hitbox, and the hitbox is instead transferred to this projectile. Now, you gotta be careful because, you know, if you punch too much, like I just did there, you're gonna find yourself in a very precarious situation. So I just got an extra ring. Now, this item down here, there's only two of those in the entire game. That's basically a telepathy ball, or the miracle ball, as the game calls it. What it lets you do is it lets you read the minds of your opponent during the rock, paper, scissors game. But of course, you don't really need it, considering that it's never random, so... Okay. As long as you're fast enough, you can avoid the ghosts by scrolling them off the screen. The range of which you can off-screen things is very short, so you don't have to travel too far, but, you know, I wouldn't take the chance if I were you. So, this is Scissorhead. Not much to say about him for now. He proclaims himself to be the second henchman of the king, but as we'll see later on, he'll demonstrate in my opinion, I think he should have been the first henchman of the king, based on how difficult he is of a boss fight. Yeah, you actually can fight these guys. Not now, but when we encounter them for the second and last time each, they will try to attack us in the most, well, for its time, in the most horrifying fashion. But more on that later. So, here's a forest. There's a shop. So, if you didn't already buy it, or if you've used it for whatever reason, you can buy the A-ball again. This is one of the only, I think this is the only shop that'll sell it, but you can buy the cane here as well. This cane lets you levitate, getting you past areas for a limited time. Now, you can get the motorcycle here if you want, but, well, aside from the fact that it's a bad idea to ride a motorcycle into a forest, in general, this forest is loaded with spikes. Tribal-looking spear spikes, to be precise. And I just died. Yeah, you're almost better off really not using a motorcycle in this level. I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't say it's a troll maneuver to buy the motorcycle and crash it in the forest. More like, I mean, you can actually get through the forest if you're skilled enough with the motorcycle. But of course, I just demonstrated that I wasn't this time, and I died. Now, of course... Oh. Okay, and I died thanks to that monkey. Okay, I guess I can punch him from there. Alright. Okay, so this guy you're supposed to hit in the stomach when he raises his sword to ready a strike, but we're gonna show off the A-ball here. Turn and face the enemy, and let her rip. So 8 miniature clones will actually take care of him for you. And here we have the only instance of the jet ski. You know, come to think of it, on the map it looked like a river. I mean, I've seen people actually use jet skis on miniature rivers, or straits, I guess. But, I don't know. It seems kind of a waste. I mean, unless the river has a very strong current, I don't think it was... I think a standard motorboat would have sufficed to get across, or even just a regular boat for that matter, but that's just me. Okay, so once again, if you've already used it or don't have one already, you can buy this. I'll just buy it again, just to be sure. Now, this B-ball here also protects you from harm. I don't know exactly how it works, but from my understanding, between it and the mystery package, which isn't a mystery, by the way, it's invulnerability, it too also provides invulnerability. The thing is, you don't really need this at all, so I'm just going to ignore it. So, buy a helicopter if you wish. I mean, if you're not good at platforming, I recommend buying a helicopter because, well, as you can see, it's not impossible, but it's way difficult to jump from platform to platform otherwise. You cannot damage the storm clouds at all, so don't bother. Just, like with any storm clouds, just avoid them and you'll be fine. By the way, there are certain instances in this game where certain money bags, despite the fact that they're on screen, despite the fact that you collect them, they don't register as you collecting them, and they just disappear. It doesn't happen very often, and it only happens in certain locations, but I don't know. It's one of those victims of early programming from back in the day. Okay, Paperhead, first henchman of the king. Now, in the Alex Kidd DX remake by Merge Software, Papillon here, or Paperhead, goes on to mention that he's actually Jaken the Great's right-hand man. Which, if you look carefully, he actually is a right hand. So, that's a fun fact for you. But anyway. Oh, by the way, in the DX remake, yeah, it's not true RNG. It basically just uses the same nostalgia you're familiar with, same patterns and such. Not true RNG, or true rock, paper, scissors, which I would have appreciated, but I don't know. I digress. So here's the Redaxian Castle, and you have to understand, as a kid growing up, this music was actually kind of scary. Again, when I say when I was a child, I'm talking about as young as 7 or so. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you can actually bust out the ring and get those money bags if you want, but I got 1790, so I'm good. Don't really need it. How many lives do I have? 8? Why not? I'll just go in here real quick, grab this extra life. So once again, you can't kill the fire, so don't try. You know, when I played this game on the Sega Master System, I don't know if it was because our TVs were crap back in the day, but I don't remember Alex's suit having a white stripe on it. I mean, I've known it was red. I know it was like blue with red overalls or something. Not quite Mario-esque. I mean, Mario's is the opposite, but yeah, I don't remember like that white tracksuit like stripe. Okay, so although that is not technically a bottomless pit and will take me to another area, I'm going to have to avoid that. Okay, now I think I'll bust out the ring. You don't have to use your ring, but, you know, it makes clearing out the blocks real easy. Like so. By the way, that question mark block, that's a ghost. Don't bother. And that's the only question mark block in this level, so, again, another reason not to touch it. Okay, now if you accidentally hit all the... If you have accidentally hit all the blocks, don't worry. I believe you can actually leave the room and come back and the blocks might respawn. I'm not entirely sure. So anyway, just hit one of those blocks up there. Anyway, your twin brother here basically lets you know that that Jake and the Great is trying to find the Moonlight Stone. So, in the game's instruction manual, the story goes that while you were training on Mount Eternal, a dying man came to you from on top of the mountain and gave you the Sunstone. That's the Sun Medallion just to the right of the score there, or to the money there. So, you can't... The Sunstone doesn't really do anything for you right now. Basically, it's just one of 2 pieces you need to actually get the crown, which you need to win the game. So anyway, now the DX remake actually forces you to go and save your brother. But, fun fact, you actually don't really need to save your brother here in this version. I mean, in fact, the final challenge of the game, as long as you know the password already, which, by the way, never changes from playthrough to playthrough, you can just go there and win the game. Yeah, you don't really need to save your brother, you don't need to get the letter on top of this ladder, on top of this room here. Yeah, so if I didn't save my brother and talk to him, that letter up there on top of those, this makeshift staircase, it wouldn't be there. Basically, that letter lets the king of the other castle know that you're cool. Or, you know, it grants you an audience with their king. Fun fact about this particular room here. Randomly, and I don't know what causes it, but you can actually die randomly. You don't even have to touch the fire. I don't know what causes it. I really don't know what causes your character to die in that room at random. I don't know if it has to do with this scorpion running back and forth in this room. Couldn't tell you. Oh, by the way, if you can actually run and duck under things and inch your way towards other areas. If you come here, you can actually you can actually get you can actually get a telepathy ball if you've somehow lost yours, or you didn't get one the first time. Of course, I don't really need it, and that's only one of 2 in the entire game, so don't want it. So if you already know the code or know the hands to throw when you're supposed to, don't bother. Just a waste of time. Okay, so just wait for this fire to pass through. Climb the ladder, and here we are. This is your second and last encounter with Stonehead, the 3rd henchman of the king. Now, to beat this guy this time, you actually do need to throw paper twice. Well, it looks like that's the way it's meant to be. Okay, take this. Believe me, the fact that they pop their heads off to attack you scared me as a kid. But, you know, it's pretty tame compared to the games that we play today, which is saying a lot, actually. Anyway, just punch him in the just punch his fist face? Did I technically bro-fist him then? If I punched him in the face? I don't know. Mysteries, I guess. Anyway, at this point, you don't need the A or the B ball. You can just buy the extra life. In fact, we have so much money right now, we almost don't really need to buy. We don't need any more money. And, surprise, Scissorhead. Yep, we're already fighting Scissorhead. Now the DX version of this game actually expands upon this particular village. It makes it an actual level. I wish Merge Software had taken the time to iron out some of more of the bugs, but I think it was pretty clear that they were just trying to make money off of the nostalgia of some people. I don't know. I mean, I'm not pointing fingers, but kind of disheartening when companies release a game and they put forth little effort into fixing them. Just saying. Now, as I said before, he says he's the 2nd henchman of the king, but this is actually, between the 3 of them, this is actually one of the more elaborate attack patterns. His head actually moves in a V shape in an attempt to hit you, all the while his body is actually casting spells that'll turn you to stone if you get hit by him. Anyway, it's not that big of a deal. Just when you punch him in the face, it will stun them briefly, so there. Yeah, so he's nothing to write home about, really. Okay, so this right here is the only time you go left in the entire game. Now, here's the thing. If you crash the helicopter at any point, you're pretty much boned. You need this helicopter, and this is the only time that you'll actually continuously respawn with a helicopter. And no, you don't get checkpoints in between. You'll always spawn back here. So I'm not entirely sure what that is down below. Whether it's toxic sludge, poison water, acid, I don't know. I mean, vines do grow up, are growing through there. Oh, by the way, you're not on the planet Earth. This is actually a planet known as Planet Ares. Yes, perhaps named after the god of war. I don't know, but... And there we go. Now we're at the Nimbana Kingdom. And yeah, basically that's the whole level right there. It might actually be shorter than Star Road 3 in Mario World, actually. But anyway, because I had the letter with me, the king is actually much friendlier and actually tells you that Jake the Great had basically already taken the Moonlight Stone from him. And that the crown is in Lake Deep. No, it's not deep in the lake. That's the name of the level, Lake Deep. Yeah, I guess they didn't bother giving it a proper name. But anyway, he gives you a stone slab, which is one of the only few key items that are reusable. So this right here is actually the password you need to actually get the crown at the very end of the game. It reads from top to bottom, right to left. Not left to right, top to bottom. So basically the password is sun, water, moon, star, sun, moon, water, fish, star, fish. And then the crown will appear. So if you mess up any part of that sequence in the final room of the game, a ghost will come after you. And only by getting 3 correct answers in a row will a ghost disappear, allowing you to effectively try again. But we're not going to make the mistake. Like I said, I mean, if you didn't have that letter and you reached that castle, the king basically just tells you to F off and six a ghost after you. So, yeah. But don't worry, you can still complete the level. Oh, I guess I was wrong. There was actually 2 times you can actually buy this. You can't stockpile items. You can only have 1 of each at any given moment, so I'll go ahead and buy everything anyway. I mean, this is the last shop of the game, so money at this point is all but completely useless, really. I think all it will serve now is just to boost your score at the end. Not sure if... I think that was a 1-up. Okay, so come here, and it's Paperhead for the second and last time. To beat him, to beat him in rock, paper, scissors this time, you throw rock and scissors, just like you did before. Yeah, so he's probably the only one that really switches up the pattern, really. So, throw rock, then throw scissors, and then we get to see his unique boss fight pattern. So Paperhead here tries to be clever. His head flies up just out of your reach, see? Just out of your jumping reach. And, you know, he comes to the far left side of the screen and charges toward the far right. But if you notice carefully, his head never goes past his body. So basically, all you gotta do is just stand to the right of him, like so, and just punch his head when it comes by. Oh, by the way, unlike the other 2 boss encounters, he doesn't actually get stunned when you punch him. So he's kind of different in that regard. Anyway, come here. So this is Jake the Great's fortress. I'll actually go ahead and use the ring, so... and jump. jump. Okay, that, I believe, is acid or something. I don't know. I mean, early graphics, you know, you gotta use your imagination. I got plenty of lives, so I don't really need to manipulate what's in those blocks or get anything in there. So I'll just go ahead and skip those. So if you ever wanted to get the goodies in those, you basically hit this block here. Well, you have to punch this section of wall, and a block will just magically appear. Okay, so if you want those money bags, you have to hit the right or the left side of this block here, and a hole will open up in the floor over there. But of course, you know, money's useless right now, and I don't really care much about my score, so... Now, you gotta be careful when you jump from screen to screen. It's kind of hard to gauge how much inertia you have between screen scrolling. Oops. Okay, so you want to be quick here because there's a lot of troll moments in this castle that are... See, the game is almost designed like an arcade game, you know, where it's designed to eat your quarters. But yeah, remember how I said that Alex's hitbox is when he wears the ring is no longer on his fists? Yeah, I can stand right next to this thing, mash whatever the attack button is, depending on which version of the game you're playing. I'm playing on the Switch, so it's the Y button for me. But yeah, I can stand right next to this thing, and the wall here would never open up, so you gotta give it some space, like that. Okay, so this room right here, this is a fork in the road. If you have the cane, you can actually levitate up to that ladder and actually skip the next portion of this level. But if you go down here, you'll actually encounter a pretty trolly room, which I'll actually show off here. You gotta be careful how you land, because, yeah, you could just land on those vines and just die. So, anyway, make your way past the vines. And this is the most trolly room that you'll ever see. Now, if you try to swim or push up on the directional pad or some such, you actually will die. Those spikes are real. Same thing with the bottom ones. Touch them, you die. Now, what you're supposed to do, and I kid you not, I only found this out by complete accident, because again, internet didn't exist back then. What you're supposed to do is gradually inch your way like this, and just let go of the buttons. And Alex will actually float gracefully to the top. Now, without pushing up, you'll want to be very careful in maneuvering Alex here. Same thing with these spikes here. Just let Alex's buoyancy do most of the work. Come over here, and you should be fine. Now, I know it looked like I glitched there for a brief second, but this game didn't really handle scene Okay, well, I touched fire there, but Okay, I touched fire again. Okay, well I got 6 lives, so I'm doing pretty okay for myself. But if you're like me and you lose a bunch of lives, if you want, you can try for that 1-up right there, but I don't really have to myself. Now what you want to do is you want to quickly run to the left, because there's no way out of this. And yeah, you just die. Okay, so come over here. Take these 2 guys out. Okay, so you see that fish block up there? Now, in the room directly below me, as indicated by the ladder there, that's the room down below was the same room that had this in there. You only really need to use, well actually no, you don't really need to use this item at all in the game, really. But if for whatever reason you feel you need this item to get through the next next room, it's available for you down there. But if you go for it, you'll have to swim through that whole section all over again. So I don't recommend that. Or worst yet, you'll have to use your cane to get back up here without having to traverse the water section again. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and activate this to show it off, but there is a way to actually dispatch this frog. Hug the rightmost wall. Yeah, so the invincibility doesn't really last long. So in the next room is Jake and the Great, but if you still have the cane at this point, what you can do is you can actually use the cane here, float ever so slightly into the next room, and then float straight up towards the ladder and actually rescue the princess without ever having to fight Jake and the Great at all. And believe it or not, the game doesn't check to make sure the game doesn't check on whether or not you collected the Moonlight Stone for him. It just automatically gives you the Moonlight Stone if you don't already have it. So, yeah. Of course, you can do the same thing in the DX remake, but the game effectively forces you to fight Jake and the Great to do it proper, so would have been nice if they added an Easter egg, but whatever. We're just going to go ahead and fight Jake and the Great here. I don't know why he was the princess briefly, but I don't know. Early programming mistakes, I guess. Anyway, he commends us on making it this far, yada yada yada. He also challenges us to rock, paper, scissors. To beat him, you just throw paper twice. Yeah, apparently he has the strategy of good old rock. Nothing beats that. So, fun fact. Now, if you're like me and you're a kid growing up, you probably looked at that sprite of Jake and the Great and you thought that he had a mustache. No, actually, that's his mouth. And those white things are his teeth. Yeah, for the longest time I thought he had like a red mustache. I don't know why, but I don't know. Thought maybe he looked better with a mustache. Anyway. So anyway, he too becomes a sore loser and tries to cast spells on you. If you stand right next to him, though, they'll never touch you. Just hit him in his stupid hat 3 times. Collect the moonstone, watch him turn to stone, and just climb the ladder. Now, if I wanted to right now, I could push down on the D-pad and actually fight him again. But I won't. In fact, if you trigger this cutscene here. Yeah, you can't actually go down there anymore. So anyway, that's Princess Sarah, your elder brother's fiance. And you come down here. Okay, and this is the final puzzle of the game. So if you don't know the puzzle, so the first three ones are sun, water, moon, star, right? So star, sun, water, moon. See? Moon. Water. Oh, sun, water, moon. Okay. Alright. Oh, it actually... Okay. But yeah, only 2 ghosts can appear at any given moment. So anyway... Yeah, you imagine coming all this way, don't have a clue what you're doing, and you just lose all your lives. Again, one of those player buster moments. So anyway, let's just end this, right? Sun, water, moon. Oh, did it? Oh, crap. Did it actually save? Sun, water, moon. Sun, water, moon. Can I go back? No. I might actually lose this, actually. Sun, water, moon, star. Oh, right. Sun, water, moon. Sun, water, moon. Star. Sun, moon, water. Fish, star, fish. Yeah, those stalagmites can also kill you. Whew. I almost botched that. Yeah, I guess I learn something new every day. But yeah, that's Alex Kidd in the Miracle World. Definitely a game where... Definitely one of those difficult but short level games. Kind of a running theme with games back in the day. You know, it's kind of reminds me of a little bit of Marble Madness, where the NES port only had like 6 levels, but they were pretty difficult, and plus you had to use a D-pad on that game. I think Marble Madness was ported to several different consoles, and there are different versions of that game floating around, but I don't know. So, yeah. So, there we go. That's Alex Kidd in the Miracle World. So, I believe I actually saved a original copy of my first playthrough of this game here, which I could have played instead of actually playing through it a second time, but I don't know, I thought I'd do it for authenticity. So anyway, thank you for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It would really help out, and I'll see you in the next game. Later.